Hey everyone, and welcome back to Ideanthro, where we have Ben back again. Ben,
hello.
Welcome back. And 2 episodes ago, I was out with you guys watching at this stormwater treatment system here that's kind of like a pipeless bioretention system, sort of a level spreader. Anyway, it's vegetated, it has plants, it treats stormwater. We were out at this and we were looking at how it was established really well initially, and then the weeds have got up just recently, and we were talking about why once the weeds have reached this certain size, this becomes a real problem from a maintenance point of view because they're too close to the plants that are there. There's seed heads already up already that you're not going to be able to come in here and easily get on top of those weeds. Well, it's about a week later, and the local government that's responsible for this system has come in and has had a crack at managing this system, and to their credit, it doesn't look like they've sprayed herbicide around, and that's a good thing. But they've taken a different approach, which has some negatives to it. It's got its pros, got its cons, and we're going to take a look around and show you that, because it's actually really rare that you get an example to see a system that had some weeds coming up. We talked about it just before then, and now we've just seen the works, and we can see the consequences of that and talk about where this might go in the next couple of months. Ben used to work in this sort of field back in a previous life. He wasn't involved in doing these works today, but because he used to work in this sort of field, he's the perfect person to show us around and give us a look at what's happened. So I'm going to jump behind the camera. Ben's going to talk us through what we see here. Ben, it's over to you.
So, what did you call this system, Jack?
Let's call it a pipeless bioretention system.
A pipeless bioretention system. So as Jack has established, this was a pipeless bioretention system that has quite a lot of desirable vegetation. There's some melaleucas behind us, there's some carex, there's some lomandras, all the things that you would probably normally see in a system like this. But like many systems that have experienced some growth, there is also a lot of weeds. And these weeds have reached a point that they're really smothering the desirable vegetation. So as a consequence, and as per the routine maintenance that happens with these types of systems, council has come in and they have tried to manage them as effectively as I think they thought was the right way to go with it. And that is to come through and brush cut everything. So if we'll just go down to the system now and we'll have a talk about how that's really manifested on the ground. And it is brush cut. So they've come in here with a brush cutter and they've leveled everything to about 200 millimeter off the ground for whatever reason. Previously, as Jack pointed out, it was mostly these types of tufted grasses that were the issues, seeding as we can see here. And they've brush cut as much of that as I think they thought they could without damaging too much of the desirable vegetation. So they made a trade-off between essentially cutting down these weeds. This is a lomandra.
Yeah, so not a weed.
Not a weed, a desirable plant.
Yeah.
This is some carex just here, as Jack's panning to now.
Yep.
Yeah, they made a trade-off between getting rid of as much of it as they could while not disturbing too much of this good stuff.
Yep.
But as with this approach, what I've seen with this approach, no matter if you come in here with a brush cutter, you're always going to do some damage.
Yeah.
And we can see a lot of that here.
We had some shoot up lomandras around the place, didn't we?
Oh, so yeah, here's an example of just here. This is lomandra. Jack just pointed to a healthy one. And this is an example of one that was maybe a little bit younger.
Yeah, you can see it's been cut off.
Yeah.
Around the tip there. Yeah. Won't focus, but anyway.
That's okay. Yeah, and if we walk through the system, we come this way, you can see that it's, as I've said, they've done a pretty good job at controlling the grasses, the tufted grasses, these feral grasses,
yep.
But they have done some damage. And this is, in my view, maybe not the most effective way of controlling these plants, given that you know, they have these desiccation resistant seeds, and they're dispersed through things like alicory. So this is an example just here. So the wind
and water. As you're shaking that off, bits are falling off and
things are just falling everywhere. So there's an old proverb, a farmer's proverb, that 1 year's seeding is 7 years weeding. And effectively, by applying this approach to cutting everything down, they may have compounded the weed problem into the future, and that is spreading the seed everywhere. And yeah,
So we've got this pros and cons, right?
Pros and
where
cons.
I'll spin this around, where they've done a really good thing by not spraying herbicide in here, because that almost certainly would have killed
A lot of the, yeah.
would have killed the lomandras and the carricks almost certainly.
Yep.
The flip side is come in and brush cut, still knocked off a few of those, but not all of them. But potentially we've spread a bunch more weeds around. So likely,
This is right.
so
And we've only damaged the desirable stuff as well.
yeah.
So
So potentially what? Maybe 2 months down the track, it's the end of, like we're just out of summer now.
Mhm.
So maybe there might be a bit of weed growth happen, but we're going to get into winter where it might not go bonkers. So
Yep.
this might stay fairly open
Yep.
over the next 6 months or so.
Yep.
But then come next growing season,
This is right, yeah.
there's seeds in there.
Yep.
There's space and there's light for light to get down onto the system.
This is right.
We're expecting that these grasses are going to come back up with a vengeance.
Yeah, that's right.
essentially.
Yeah, these things have dormancy mechanisms, they're desiccation resistant, so they will persist in this system in the seed bank, and they'll come up, just as Jack said, with a vengeance.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So let's wrap it up there, but not first without me showing just recognizing something here, which is the fact that this system hadn't been maintained for a while. I came out and did that last episode, and then I let the council know about this. I need to, what is the word? Eat a little bit of humble pie here, in the sense that I let the council know about this. I didn't, I chose to, I suppose, not provide any advice as to what I thought should go on here. Full credit to the council for not spraying herbicide around here. The flip side of this is, though, that I didn't also say, well, I think brush cutting could be a problem and it could be these reasons. So this is in no way criticism of what council has done here. I actually think they've made quite a logical decision not with the herbicide, and they've gone to the next most logical step from there. So please don't think that we're criticising this. We're just trying to highlight the consequences of particular decisions so that we can learn from that and then inform future decisions. That's what we're trying to do here. I hope we've got that point across.
Yep.
But yeah, I hope you found this interesting. Tune in next time where Ben and I are going to have a little bit of a chat about what we think, like what's the alternative to this. We had herbicide was one problem we've identified as, not desirable once systems get to this size, this weedy state. The brush cutting, probably not as bad as that, but has got its own problems. In the next episode, we are going to talk about, okay, what is the alternative? What other options do we have once those two more common tools are off the table? That's it for now. If you've got thoughts on this, if you want to chime into this discussion, by all means hit us up. www.ideanthro.com, click on contact. You can find our contact details there. You can also find all the videos on YouTube, and you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Ideanthro. You can comment below the videos. We would love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Sweet, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.